Now, as you all know about the physical properties of the hydrogen, you know about the position of hydrogen in a periodic table, anomalous position, what you say is. And we also know that different methods, the industrial method, the lab preparation, and moreover the general methods of the preparation by which we can get the hydrogen gas. So we are familiar with almost all the hydrogen. So we are just going to learn now that where this hydrogen is being used, what are the uses actually the hydrogen are performing, what are those important, you can say, the use that what the important gas that makes the hydrogen gas very important, right? So the first use, I'm just summing up the use first, then we'll be discussing the one by one in detail, right? So it can be hydrogen is used as a fuel, and moreover it is used for hydrogenation. The third use, it is a constituent of many compounds. That means it acts as a, you can say, the constituent. That means there are many compounds which contain hydrogen as a constituent. Moreover, it leads to the formation of many important compounds as well. It is used in extraction, of metals, right? It is used in producing the oxyhydrogen flame, which is a very important. We'll be taking up, as I told you, we'll be taking these uses one by one, so that you should know that how they are performed, how hydrogen is performing an important use. So it is being used in oxyhydrogen flame. It is used in a very important reaction, that is the oxidation reduction reaction. Right, so these are the uses actually which I have listed for you for the hydrogen. We'll be taking up these uses again and again, and and also along with that what is the basic property of the hydrogen which is making the hydrogen used as or you can say serving this use, right? So the first property is fuel. We know that fuel is a substance which on burning produce energy, right? So obviously the hydrogen on burning might be producing energy. That is why it is used as fuel. So the question must be striking in your mind that in which forms it is used as a fuel. So it is used in the different forms, that is the coal gas, the water gas, and obviously the liquid hydrogen. So in many you can say the areas, the coal gas, water gas and liquid gas are used as a fuel, and they are used as a fuel because they contain hydrogen. So what is the basic property behind the hydrogen that it is used as a fuel? The main property is that when hydrogen is burnt, it produces a lot of energy. That means the reaction of H2 when it is burned in presence of oxygen, H2 plus O2, it leads to the formation, you can say the production of more amount of energy. The reaction is being exothermic, and this energy make it used as a fuel. Right, so that means it is the coal gas and water gas is serving as a fuel because they produce a lot of energy. The hydrogen present in them produce lot of energy when it burns, right? And what in case of liquid hydrogen, it is performing, the liquid hydrogen has two more advantages. That is, along with the energy, it is serving as two more important advantages. It is the non-polluting, and moreover it is easy to store. So due to these reasons, the hydrogen is, you can say, acting as a fuel in the form of coal gas, water gas and liquid hydrogen. Right, now you must be just summed up many examples in your mind that yes, their liquid hydrogen is used, their water gas is used, their coal gas is used. So the basic reason behind the use is that the energy the hydrogen produced on burning. Right, so the second is hydrogenation. Now what is this? So before we start the hydrogenation, you need to know that what kind of reaction is hydrogenation. As you know that we have the combination reaction, we have the displacement reaction, we have the double displacement reaction, we have addition reaction, we have substitution reaction. So there are different kinds of reaction. So out of them, hydrogenation is what kind of reaction? So first of all, you should know it is an addition kind of reaction. It is a addition reaction. As the name suggests, that means in this something is going to add up. So nothing is eliminated, only we are adding something to the reactant to form a desired product. And what is that something? That is hydrogen. Hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen. Right. So the second question, the second important aspect of this reaction, you should know that addition reactions are never shown by the alkanes. It is the property of the unsaturated compounds that contain the, you can say, an extra bond. So that means it is shown by the compounds, carbon compounds, mostly by the carbon compounds, that is the alkenes and alkynes. That means they have double bond and then minimum one triple bond is present. As you can say, there is one extra bond. In this case, there is two extra bond. That is why they can just, you can say, break their bond and link the extra atoms of hydrogen. Right. So what is actually this use? You will be studying alkanes, alkenes in the 10th as well at the highest standard. But just for your sake that you should know that addition reactions are carried only in case of unsaturated compounds, I have told you. So if you can remember, it is very good that if you can just remember these names, and the reason, as I told you, that they contain this the extra bond so that they can link the extra hydrogen atoms, right? So otherwise, what is the hydrogenation of oils called? Hydrogenation of oils. It is actually a conversion of unsaturated compound, that means a compound which contains double or triple bond, minimum one double or triple bond, can be two also, but the minimum requirement is one double or one triple bond. What we are adding? We are adding hydrogen to it. The reaction won't occur like this. There is a need of catalyst, and the catalyst uses mostly a nickel, right? And a high temperature is required. So what is going to happen? Hydrogen is just going to add up in this unsaturated compound, turning into a saturated compound. That means a single bond carbon compound. That means, or you can say, it is just the conversion of the unsaturated fat into the saturated fat by adding nickel in presence of when high temperature is applied in order to get the saturated compound, right? So that means, or you can say the conversion of vegetable oil into the solid fat, because vegetable oil is actually an unsaturated compound and the solid fat is a saturated compound. So either of the way you can say, but you should be familiar with both the aspects, right? So hydrogenation of oils means addition of hydrogen to an unsaturated compound in presence of nickel at high temperature in order to form saturated compound. And the second definition which I told you is that the addition of, the hydrogenation of oil is a process of converting the vegetable oil into a solid fat by adding hydrogen in presence of nickel at high temperature. So either of the way you can use. So like I have told you, the hydrogenation of oils, there is the hydrogenation of coal as well that take place. So what happens? In coal we add hydrogen, again a catalyst, a suitable temperature and high pressure is required. So what happens? The coal gets transformed into a compound which is similar to the petroleum. That means which has high percentage of hydrogen. Right. So hydrogenation of coal just leads to the, you can say, the conversion of coal into the petroleum, which has the high percentage of the hydrogen. So this is that means it is the hydrogenation. I think it's clear now. Hydrogenation, again I am repeating, it is just an addition reaction. What we are adding? We are adding in hydrogenation, hydrogen. That is why it is hydrogenation addition, right? So, and where does this addition reaction take place? It takes place only in the compounds which carry an extra bond. So like I gave you an example of alkene and alkyne. Hydrogenation of oil, you know that, converting vegetable oil into solid fat in presence of nickel by adding hydrogen at higher temperature. And again coal is, you know that now. So that means the second use we have done, that what is the hydrogenation of oils and hydrogenation of coal, and what is the reason that why we are doing it, right? So third, it is a constituent of many compounds. That means many compounds contain hydrogen as the constituent. Do you have any idea of any important compound? Can you tell me? Yes, you are right. The very important compound, that is ammonia. And the formation of ammonia is the Haber's process. So in this, the constituent is, again, the important the inflammable gas that we are considering, that is the hydrogen. So that means it is serving as a constituent of many compounds. Moreover, it just leads to the formation of many compounds. As you know that most of the, you can say, the compounds which are found in plants and animals are hydrocarbons. So what are actually hydrocarbons? They are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen. So that means again in hydrocarbons there is an hydrogen, and moreover it forms many other compounds the most important, water. See, we cannot live this thing without water, you know that. Water is again which contains H2 and O2, which leads to the formation of H2O. So that means H2 is again a constituent. So that means it acts as a constituent of many compounds, and also it forms many important compounds which we use in a daily routine, like water I told you. And next, it is used in extraction of metals. As you know that the metals do not get in nature as such, as they are reactive, so they occur in a combined form, you know that, and that combined form is called as ore. Right. So there are you can say the different processes by which we can obtain the pure metal, and those processes are just summed up under the phenomena called metallurgy. Right. So what we do, we just take an ore, first we remove the impurities, then that means we concentrate the ore. Second is we do the oxidation, that means that ore gets converted into the metal oxide. For example, I am stating an example, it will be clear to you. Suppose I got an ore, I say that there is a bauxite ore, right? Bauxite ore is an ore of aluminium, right? So we just got the bauxite ore. So what is going to happen? We are just going to remove that ore from the earth crust. So along what we'll get to see with the ore, there will be an impurities, there will be you can say the termites and all, we'll get to see that. So first of all, what we have to do, we just have to remove that plants, soil, everything which is just attached with the ore, so that we can get the substance from which only the metal can be extracted. That is called as concentration of ore, right? So when you have concentrated the ore, you have just removed the soil, the plants, or anything which was present in the earth crust which was attached to the ore, you have just removed it. So that means you have concentrated the ore. The second step what we do is the oxidation. That means that, as I told you, that it was an aluminium ore. So that means after concentration of ore, you need to convert it into, you have to follow certain kind of processes, so that you just convert into the metal oxide. So we know that it was an aluminium ore, so we have the aluminium oxide. This step is called as oxidation. And the third what we do is, because we need the metal in a pure form, so what we do is, we do certain kind of reactions in which the aluminium and oxygen, or you can say any metal or oxygen, just get detached. This process is called as reduction. And then when we obtain this metal, we just further purify it and use it in a ready to use form. This is just out of syllabus, we'll be doing in the next higher classes, but still I told you, because I'm going to mention the name extraction, so you should know what the extraction is actually and why it is needed, and how the hydrogen is serving as a main use in extraction. Right. So as I told you, there are many methods, many steps which has to be followed in the metallurgy, that is the concentration, oxidation, reduction and refining. Right. So hydrogen would serve in the important use in the extraction of metal, and what is that use? That is reduction. That means it helps, you can say, it helps in just removing reducing the metal oxide into metal. Like for example, if I use this H2, so this H2 can reduce it. Reduce means it can remove its oxygen and just make oxygen attach with itself. So that means in extraction we need to reduce metal oxides, and there we can use a reducing agent, hydrogen. That means it will just take up the oxygen from that metal and just convert the metal oxide into the metal. So likewise, it is serving as an important use in extraction of metal as well, right? So the next use is oxyhydrogen flame. This also is an important, performing an important function in case of welding. So what is that? See, when oxygen is burned in the atmosphere of hydrogen, as I told you, it is an exothermic reaction. So when oxygen is burned in the atmosphere of hydrogen, it leads to the formation of oxyhydrogen flame. Right, and you know that the reaction is exothermic. So where that exothermic, or you can say the energy, is being utilized, it is utilized in the cutting and welding purpose. So oxyhydrogen flame is simple, a flame which is obtained by burning oxygen in the atmosphere of hydrogen. And when somebody asks you that what is the property that it is acting as, or you can say it is being used in the welding and cutting purpose, is that the energy it produces, right? And what is that, where this energy is being used, it is used in cutting and welding purpose. So simple. So that means you know that what is oxyhydrogen flame and where it is used, and what property of the hydrogen is just making it used in the welding and the cutting purpose, right? So the last use we have is oxidation and reduction. As I told you, when we did addition, I told you there are many reactions, and we just covered in the chemistry before also that we have many kinds of chemical reaction: combination, decomposition, displacement, double decomposition, neutralization, precipitation. There are many reactions, and in that we studied the redox reaction as well, which is the combination of reduction and oxidation. So how we used to define that reduction and oxidation? I think you remember that on the basis of classical concept, we just define it that removal of hydrogen is oxidation and addition of hydrogen is reduction. Because I am just considering the hydrogen in this case, otherwise we have the definition for oxygen as well. Like in oxidation, it is addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen, and in reduction, it is addition of hydrogen and removal of oxygen, just vice versa of the oxidation, right? But here we are not, I am not talking about the oxygen because we are just focusing on the hydrogen. So we just need a definition where the hydrogen is serving as an important use. So that is why just how you can explain it: oxidation is the removal of hydrogen and reduction is the addition of hydrogen. This definition is based on classical concept because we do have a different definition based on the electronic concept. You remember that, right? So but here we need the definition just in accordance with the hydrogen, right? So as I am telling you with an example, removal of hydrogen. Suppose I have sodium hydride, I carried out certain processes, and after that I just separated the hydrogen from the sodium. So obviously here in the reactant it has an hydrogen and here it gets separated. So that means it is an oxidation, right? And similarly in reduction, what I am doing, I am just combining the Na and H2, sodium and hydrogen. It leads to the formation of sodium hydride. So what happens in the reactant, the Na is not having H, but in the product it do have H. So that means it is the addition of hydrogen, that is the reduction. So that means you just now know that there are so many important uses that hydrogen is being serving. So this is all about the hydrogen. So just remember it, remember the properties. That lighter one property which I told you, that it is used in a meteorological balloon, that can also you can write as in use, that it is lighter than air, that is 14.4 times lighter, that is why it is used in meteorological balloons as well. So that can also be in use, which we discussed before also. Nowadays it has been replaced by helium in the meteorological balloons, but still the hydrogen has the property to be used as a gas in the meteorological balloon. So we will be listing this as an example, right? So these are all the uses which we have done. Just don't forget about the properties, that it is an inflammable gas, who gave its name, who first synthesized it, what is the hydrogen. I think you can just recall it again.